tissues. What do you mean by tissue? A group of cells having a common origin similar in a structure and or a work together to achieve a particular or function is known as tissue. Plant tissues are primarily classified into two groups, that is meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissues are classified into three, that is apical meristem, intercalary meristem, lateral meristem. Apical meristem is present at the growing tips of stems and roots and increases the length of the stem and the root. Lateral meristem. The width of the stem or a root increases due to lateral meristem. Intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem is the meristem at the base of the leaves or the internodes. Permanent tissues. The cells of meristematic tissue loses the ability to divide and get differentiated into specialized tissues. These differentiated cells form different type of tissues which are known as permanent tissues. Some examples of permanent tissues are parenchyma, sclerenchyma, etc. Parenchyma. It is a basic or a fundamental tissue found in plants. Cells of these tissues are thin-walled, circular or polygonal. Chlorenchyma. Some cells of parenchyma contains chlorophyll and perform photosynthesis. This kind of parenchyma is known as cholenchyma. Aerenchyma. In aquatic plants, parenchyma contains big air spaces in between them. Such tissue is known as aerenchyma. Collenchyma. The cells in this type of tissue are living elongated and irregularly thickened with cellulose at the corners. There is very little intercellular space. These tissues provide flexibility and mechanical support to plants. Sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is a chief mechanical tissue of a plant. The cells of these tissues are usually long, narrow and pointed at both ends. Complex permanent tissue. First one, xylem. Xylem is complex plant tissue which transport water and dissolved minerals from roots to all other plant parts. Xylem consists of four kinds of cells, also known as elements. First one, trachea. A trachea is an elongated hollow cell with both ends of trap ring. The walls of these cells are thickened by the lining. Next, vessels. Vessels are tissue-like structures formed by a number of cells placed end to end with their transverse walls dissolved. The side walls of these tubes also have deposition of lining. Xylem parenchyma. These are parenchyma thin living cells. They help in lateral conduction of water and sap. They also store food. Xylem fibers. They are lignified dead fibers which provide mechanical support to plant. The most important element of xylem is vessel because most of the water and minerals are carried upward through this component of xylem. Xylem is made four type of elements: sleeve tubes, phloem parenchyma, companion cells, phloem fibers. The most important element of phloem is sleeve tubes because they translocate food materials from leaves to other parts of plant. The main conducting part of the phloem is sleeve tubes, which is from elongated cylindrical cells arranged in vertical rows. Each sleeve tube's member is supported by a long parenchyma cell called the companion cell, which helps the sleeve tubes in the conduction of food material. Phloem also contains phloem fibers, which provide mechanical support. Another component of phloem is parenchyma cells, which store food.
Connective tissue is the tissue that connects, separates and supports other type of tissues in the body. Like all tissue types, it consists of cellular surrounded by a compartment of fluid called the extracellular matrix. Based on cell presence and the fluorescent structure, we differ two types of connective tissues. Connective tissue further divided into loose and dense connective tissue. Specified connective tissues are reticular, blood, bone, cartilage, and adipose tissue. Blood has a fluid matrix called plasma. It consists of red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. The plasma contains proteins, salts, and hormones. Blood flows and transport gases, digested foods, hormones, and waste materials to different parts of the body. Bone is another example of connective tissue. It forms the framework that supports the body. It also anchors the muscles and supports the main organ of the body. Two bones can be connected to each other by another type of connective tissue called a ligament. This tissue is very elastic. It has considerable strength. Ligament consists of very rich matrix. Another type of connective tissue is cartilage. It is a widely spaced cell. The solid matrix is composed of proteins and sugars. Cartilage smoothens bone surfaces at joints and is also present in the nose, ear, trachea, and larynx. We can fold the cartilage of the ear. Hair or constitutive tissue is found between skin and muscle, around blood vessels and nerves, and in the bone marrow. It fills the space inside the organ, supports internal organs, and helps in repair of tissue. The covering or protective tissue in the animal body are epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue covers most organs and cavities within the body. It also forms a barrier to keep different body systems separated. The skin, the lining of the mouth, the lining of blood vessels, lungs. Simple squamous epithelial cells are extremely thin and flat and form a delicate lining. The esophagus and the lining of the mouth are also covered with this squamous epithelium. The skin which protects the body is also made of squamous epithelium. Skin epithelium cells are arranged in many layers to prevent wear and tear. The columnar epithelium facilitates movement across the epithelium barrier. In the respiratory tract, the columnar epithelium tissue also has cilia, which are hair-like projections on the outer surface of epithelial cells. These cilia can move, and their movement pushes the mucus forward to clear it. Cuboidal epithelium forms the lining of kidney tubulars and duct of salivary glands. Where it provides mechanical support, epithelial cells often acquire additional specialization as gland cells.
Muscular tissue. Muscular tissue is composed of cells that have ability to contract in order to produce movement of the body parts. The tissue is highly cellular and is well supplied with blood vessels. Nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is the term for group of organized cells in the nervous system, which is organ system controls the body movements.